Hello YouTube, this is Necrostevo and you're watching one of my narrated Wi-Fi battles. Just another quick shout out. I hope you guys like the new layout here at Games Are For Girls, and I decided to do something a little bit different. And she showed me some tips as far as making my own overlays. So be sure to look forward to my own overlay designs in the future, specifically on things like theme teams. Um, I also wanted to let you guys know I'm going to start doing things more on a schedule. Expect uploads from me regularly on Tuesdays and Fridays, most likely, and you may see other uploads in between that. But getting on to the match, this is the match that I had for Mega Keldeo's PokeTuber Premier Tourney, using my RU team because I'm the RU member for our team. He starts off with Rotom, which makes me think that it's Scarfed, and I really didn't want my Scyther staying in there taking a Scarfed Volt Switch or Thunderbolt. So I just go right out to Magneton, and yes, he gets switching priority, but my Scyther lives to fight another day, which is way more important at this point. Of course, I could have chanced going for the Volt Switch against Magmortar, but chances are he's probably running at least max speed, even if he's modest. He misses the Fire Blast on Slowking, but as you all know, Slowking can take a crit overheat in the sun at this point, so that didn't matter too much. And I expected him to go into his Slowking, so I just go for the Toxic on the switch. Expecting him to try to Toxic me, he could have also gone for Psychic expecting this, but I figured he'd want to get some residual damage on my Slowking. I go out into my Amoonguss, and I did call that correctly, as he does try to Toxic. Now, I wasn't sure what I should do here. I actually decided I could Giga Drain, or he might have the Psychic or Psyshock, which would actually hurt my physically defensive Amoonguss quite a bit. And I actually ended up double switching, just because I didn't want to try that. I didn't want to play that game, and I figured he wouldn't go for Toxic again, and it's generally a safe switch to bring in Magneton here. And I do get a chance to hit him with the Thunderbolt. He misses his Will-O-Wisp, and that actually is not going to end up mattering too much either. I think this is the time I paralyze him with a Thunderbolt, which that actually doesn't end up mattering either because he doesn't get paralyzed, and he hits this Will-O-Wisp, which is, another turn of residual damage, but he was slower than me anyway. So the only way that paralyzation would have mattered is if I had paralyzed him. This wasn't a pretty haxy match overall for both of us. I don't know. I just keep Thunderbolting, though, expecting him to kind of just death fodder his Spiritomb. My team is not really afraid of it, and at the same time, I don't really need anything with priority running around when I have things like Scyther that are relatively frail. Now, expecting him to expect me to switch out back to Slowking again, I stayed in, perhaps predicting him to overpredict and go for Thunderbolt. And he just goes for Focus Blast, which would hit Magneton. I don't know why I went for Focus Blast over Fire Blast, really. But, it hit. I go for my own Focus Blast trying to hit his Magmortar. He just brings in his Slowking. My miss didn't matter too much there because, it's not going to do that much to especially defensive Slowking. I'm expecting him to just go straight for the Scald because Magmortar is kind of a threat to his team, especially Scarf the way mine is. I go out into my Amoonguss and he gets a crit burn on the Scald, which is okay, unless he's carrying the Psyshock. That's not going to hurt me too much because, of course, Regenerator is just going to heal that right off. It is a little bit annoying being burned because it offsets my my Black Sludge recovery, rather. But, we can play around that as we are able to. Now, just checking to see if he has a Psyshock, I do go out on the Slowking, and he does have it. So that was a good, check, because I figured, actually, if he had it, he was going to use it earlier. But, while I may be able to live one, I definitely can't live a crit. So if I left my Amoonguss in right there, the crit probably would have knocked me out, most likely, especially after the burn damage. But now I'm actually expecting him to go out into something new, just because I kind of, I don't know, we're kind of at a stalemate, Slowking, so I decided to switch back onto my Magmortar. I do have Hidden Power Ice on my Magmortar. I didn't expect it to one-hit KO Dritigan, but I needed to put it at an amount of HP where my Scyther could finish it off if the need arose. Of course, Scyther doesn't have any way of one-hit KOing Dritigan either. He sets up Stealth Rocks, which is extremely annoying for this team, mainly because my main sweeper is Scyther. And so I'm just going to go out into Sand Slash to spin those away, and he actually switches out on the same turn into Slowking. I think he was actually predicting me to go out in the Sand Slash right there. And I figure that I'm faster, just because of base speed, and people don't normally invest speed on a Slowking. And I figured it was more important to get rid of those rocks than it was to set up my own on his team, and that's going to come into play a little bit later. Now, unfortunately, I do have to sacrifice Vash the Sandslash right here. Shout out to all my Trigun fans, Needle Noggin, and all those wonderful nicknames, love and peace. But that does allow Scyther to come in unscathed, and that's exactly who's going to come in right now. And I actually predicted that he would switch, but I didn't know what to, so I'm just going to go for a Banded U-turn, hit Dredigan for an incredible amount of damage, because based on the fact that he was carrying Stealth Box, I figured that he was physically defensive, so I didn't even think I'd do that much with a Bandit U-turn. And of course, U-turn is not boosted by Technician. So I'm allowed to go right back out into Magmortar, and just in case he wants to switch to Slowking, expecting the HP Ice, I did not want him to get his rocks back up. I go for Thunderbolt, just in case. Now, he does still have Rotom, which is annoying because it is Scarf, so if I could get my Amoonguss in safely on this thing, I could paralyze it. He does just go straight for the safe Thunderbolt on my Magmortar, probably predicting Slowking to come in to take... I don't know why Slowking would come in there, actually. But, you know, Thunderbolt's going to do more damage to not Magmortar. Yeah, it's going to do more damage to Magmortar and Amoonguss than a Leaf Storm, because those are both more resisted. Expecting him to try to stay in, or, I don't know, I expected him to do something. I didn't expect him to switch out to Spiritomb, though. Otherwise, I would have definitely gone straight for the Giga Drain. And he does get to bring it in. The Paralysis allows... I think I'm able to outspeed him, and I am. But I don't... Being physically defensive, I don't think that he would have done too much damage to me there anyways. And of course, I had the Regenerator just by switching out. So unless he was trying to trick something to me or do something annoying like that, like a Choice Band, then that would have mattered. Magmortar, of course, I cannot stay in on. I'm going to just switch back out to my own Magmortar, expecting him to expect the Slowking switch in once again. He goes for Fire Blast this time, and I'm like, alright, that's fine, I can take that, no problem, but he gets a crit, which means I cannot take another Fire Blast. So I'm just going to go for Thunderbolt. I have Overheat, but I did not want to chance missing it, and I really just wanted to get some safe, solid damage on the Magmortar. I didn't want to switch anything into it. I could have switched in Slowking, but I was very wary of losing my Slowking when I still needed things to take hits at this point. So once again, back out the side there, Banded U-turn, just hit something. More importantly though, his Scarfed Amoonguss now outruns everything on my team, and it actually did that to start with. It's like 3 or 4 base point speeds faster than a Scarfed Magmortar. So I just need to make sure my Amoonguss gets in here safe, and then hopefully I can handle it. Here I'm expecting him to go for Psyshock, and that's fine because I'm physically defensive. And I just wanted to use Giga Drain to get a bunch of that HP back, and I take that really well. I was very impressed with how well Amoonguss took that, even though I am physically defensive. It's coming off of Slowking's decent special attack stat. And he's actually just going to continue going for the Psyshocks, and I know I can take one more, but after Burn, I don't really know that I want to deal with that necessarily. But on the other hand, I don't have a really good switch in to take Psyshock because I lost my Magneton. So I'm just going to switch back into Slowking. Hopefully he doesn't try to Toxic me right now. I really don't want to be Toxic this early on in the match. I've done a good job stopping my Slowking from being statused, just so that if it came down to a Slowking versus Slowking match, he would be the one having Toxic damage racked up on him and not me. Now, expecting him to go for Toxic right here, just because it's so alluring, I'm going to switch back on out into my Trifidea the Amoonguss, and he does go for Toxic, which is great. And I figured, okay, he's just going to use Psyshock from now on. I didn't really expect him to try to go for the Toxic again. And he's getting worn down pretty well by that Toxic on him. So at this point, it's like, okay, I figure he's just going to go for another Psyshock. I can Giga Drain again, and he should be one turn away from death from the Toxic. So, I actually ended up sporing there because I think I predicted him to switch out into his Rotom, expecting me to switch back into Slowking. But now that I know that he's just going to continue doing what he's going to do, I kind of have to play with that. So, going back on into Slowking is a little bit risky. Again, I don't want to be Toxic. I can live most hits from Rotom, at least one, unless I have a bunch of residual damage on me. And it's very likely that Scarf Rotom might even carry Hidden Power Fire or Hidden Power Ice. So while it seems like I have a lot of priority on my side of the field, I don't really. Um, Unfortunately, he outspeeds me, or he. I'm slightly slower than him, which probably just comes down to IVs there. I don't really care about my IVs on Slowking speed, rather. And he's able to Toxic me. I just Side Shock him in case he has Slack off, then I can keep him relatively within that Toxic KO range. Because he really just wanted to bring in his Rotom safely, it seemed. Because that's basically the saving grace for his team. Now, he still has, I believe, a Kabutops left outside of Rotom, which we haven't seen yet. Here he's just going to go for the Thunderbolt. I could have switched in Amoonguss, but I really, really wanted to be sure that he didn't have anything like Hidden Power Ice or Hidden Power Fire or anything like that. Because being physically defensive, I couldn't take those. And since he's Scarfed, now this also gives me a chance to see what he locks himself into. And kind of just allows me to play a little bit more safely. So I'm going to let Slowking go down here in exchange for having a nice safe switch into my Amoonguss. And now I can paralyze him, which means Scyther can outspeed him. And I can, after I paralyze him, then I can even get off a Clear Smog or a Giga Drain or whatever. Fortunately, I don't miss my Stun Spore. That would have been very annoying. But we saw the damage that his Thunderbolt is doing. And obviously, he's not going to switch in Kabutops to Amoonguss because it's 4 times weak to grass attacks, and then I would just be getting a bunch of HP back. But here we kind of see that burn from the skull coming into play. It's wearing me down more than his Thunderbolts are. And so instead of going for Giga Drains to try to whittle him down, I'm just going to go for Clear Smog to get as much damage on him as I could at the time. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I think I have this relatively in the bag. He gets paralyzed right there. That doesn't really matter because I'm going to die from burn anyway. I guess I get to have initiative against his Kabutops with my Scyther, but I'm not going to live a hit from his Kabutops anyway. So he goes for Aqua Jet, which I thought was risky. I'm assuming he has Waterfall or something like that. Aqua Jet is a little bit on the weak side to be finishing something off with, and obviously he outsped. Now here I just go straight for the Bug Bite, hoping that I could kill him in one hit. It's banded, and I don't, but he misses his Stone Edge, which is going to seal the match for him. It really came down to that last move right there. But on the other hand, if he hadn't critical hit my Magmortar, then I would have had that for the remainder of the match as well. So a Stone Edge miss for a critical hit against Magmortar. It was still a really good match. There was a lot of switching around, a lot of prediction, even though it was quite haxy. There was a lot of bad luck in there, and a lot of RNG just trolling people. But I hope you guys enjoyed the match, and feel free to go check out my other teammates' battles in this tournament. I'm sure that they're posting them up. And look, again, I'm going to be uploading on Tuesdays and Thursdays regularly, whether that be upload on my channel or if I just link upload on the Gaming Mafia's channel that I have on that channel as well, which you guys will see on my Facebook. And I might adjust that schedule if you guys want. Then I could do the Tuesdays on the Gaming Mafia and have like Mondays and Fridays or something like that, where it's just like I have at least 2 battles a week and then maybe other one piece of content, just because you know, trying to make things a little bit more structured for my channel and give you guys a little bit more clear expectations for when to expect content from me. Then you guys will know to expect it in your box, or to check the Facebook group, or just to not care and watch it how you guys always watch it. Either way you have it, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this match, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye now.